on, right? I was saying about a book, but it applies to any project. We lose enthusiasm, we lose momentum. Why? We get overwhelmed, we get tired, whatever, right? So when we start off, we have to have some patience to know that this is a long process. If you don't have patience and you want the thing to be finished tomorrow, well, you're going to write 50,000, 100,000 words. You cannot do this in a day.
Mm.
It's not physically possible. You can maybe write 10 or 20,000 words in a day, depending on how fast you can type, of course. But still, it's still more than one day to write your book. Now, there are people who write short books. They write them in like a week, you write it all in one go. But still, typically, though, it takes months to write a book because we don't all have the time to spend writing 8 or 10 or 12 hours a day, or the energy, right, or the inspiration. So typically, books take the better part of a year on average to write a book. So patience, absolutely necessary. Furthermore, discipline. If you're not going to stick to your task and go to it, well, then you're also going to fall by the wayside. Now, let's get really sophisticated on discipline. And this is very, very, very important. Very important. And that is when it comes to discipline, we don't have to make discipline something stressful. We can train our brain through emphasis to be disciplined, but to have that discipline be associated with joy. In writing, and I have this in my writing course that I'm going to make at one point. It's mostly written. I just have to format it or print it as a book. It's just a file I kept writing tips to myself. And in this, to understand, right, one of the things that I recommend is always in the beginning only write when you are motivated. In the beginning, that's really easy because you are motivated, you are eager, you're enthusiastic. The moment that starts to wane, not when it gets to where it's already waned, when your enthusiasm's already, no, stop when it starts to just the beginnings of it beginning to diminish. Okay, I, I still got lots to do. I'm still keen, but I'll do it tomorrow. Because you recognize your energy starting to go. Why? Because you always want to keep that association with excitement and ease. Man, it was so easy. I'm writing. I got too much to say. I can't even keep up. You want to keep that association. If you do this for like a week or two, every time you're writing when you're enthusiastic and eager, your brain says, wow, writing is fun. The moment you change writing to being fun, discipline becomes a non-issue. Yeah. I don't have to be disciplined when it comes to doing things that are nice to me. I like doing them. I do them because I want to. And they just depend on energy, right? I don't have to force myself to go on things that are nice to do. It's very easy. So let's use this ability of the brain via association. Association management, that's the abstract conception in Way-of-Impeccability. Let's use association management, combine it with energy management, and then we leverage it into maximizing habit management. We now have a habit that we've created to see that, wow, it's my habit to enjoy my writing. Fantastic. And there are incredibly prolific writers. Yes, they write like the whole day. They love it. They just can't get enough of writing. Why? Because their brain sees it as fun. Unfortunately, in those writer groups, the average writer has got this belief that writing is difficult, it's stressful. It doesn't have to be. Right? So therefore, we can leverage discipline. Don't just think of discipline as being something onerous. No, discipline is the first part to be disciplined in making sure that association is 100% set the way you want it to be. So you have to be disciplined in stopping the fun before you run out of energy. Because when you start to get, and you see, notice, oh, my energy is going, that's when you need to have the discipline to stop. Yeah. Because otherwise, you get tired, and I end in the last thought in your head, oh man, this is a hassle. Because when you're
Mm.
tired, everything is a hassle, right? So we
Yes.
tend to remember the last things, very important. Now, Beena's used this. Beena has used this, and she writes fantastic and beautiful poetry and art. She used for art as well, right? Use this mindset, this attitude. She changed. Well, she didn't have a negative necessarily, but she really emphasized the positive, and it's become a joy for her, right? Right, Beena? It's a beautiful
Yes.
thing.
Yes.
And all our streaming is back up. So if you
Oh,
come onto the streaming a little bit late, welcome everybody again. And Beena, let me just finish my point, and then we can welcome everybody
yes.
again.
Yes.
To say now we get to the third one. I was on patience and discipline, forbearance. What is forbearance? There are times when, man, I know I love writing, I enjoy writing, but I'm just so tired. But I set a deadline. I told the editor I'll have it in, or the publisher, whatever. Okay, I'm not wildly enthusiastic, but I'm just going to persevere now. I'm going to have forbearance. I'm going to get through the difficult time. And when it comes to spirit, to not lose our center column, right? We want to always maintain that, right? So I was going on sidetracks somewhat or elaborating, fleshing out, but I didn't forget where we were. We were talking about maintaining spirit. Don't lose your spirit. Don't lose your biggest picture spirit, even though your temporary spirit may be down. Temporary spirit is a bit low. It's like, I want to get finished with my book. I got other things to do and the kids or whatever. Doesn't matter, but the forbearance. Sometimes you got to push a little bit, and you have to have that ability to use your bigger spirit to push through the potential temporary crushing of your temporary spirit. Right? That's a temporary spirit and long-term spirit. Two aren't the same. Right? So be aware of this. And sometimes, in order to keep your bigger picture spirit, you need to forbear. And when you do this, it creates the timing for it all to fall into place. It creates the timing. It's very important to understand. Yes. I mean, that he said characteristics of a warrior: patience, discipline, forbearance, timing. How can timing be a characteristic? How do you like, because the other things you can acquire, you can practice, you can develop, but how do you develop timing? Timing gets developed through the development of the other three, and they create timing. Yeah? Very, very important. There are two more, but that's for another day. Yes, they're actually six characteristics altogether, yeah, or traits of a warrior. Powerful stuff. Powerful stuff. When you really understand it in depth, in detail, very, very powerful. As Sid says, hello and welcome to Moreness-Culture. And I'm very much happy to see Moreness-Culture spelled in Moreness language terminology style. Yes, with capital M, capital C, and the hyphen. Thank you very much, Beena. Thank you very much. That was most marvelous. Detail. Sometimes detail is very important. Why does that matter? Why is it not just Moreness with a small m and culture with a small c and no dash? What's the difference? Because Moreness culture, when written this way, it first of all, it signifies that it is a thing. Yes, it's not regular culture with Moreness added to regular culture, which can be the Moreness of, more superiority paradigm. No, it's an alternative. It's a thing on its own. Secondly, internally, for our own selves, we understand the power of emphasis. Yes. And it's part of our language of conceptuality. On top of that, when we combine conceptuality and emphasis, when you're writing, you're typing, you could put a capital, you're drawing attention to it. The dash, the C, it tells your brain this is more to it. This is not a simple thing. There's depth to this. There's layers to this. This is something significant. This is something profound. This is something valuable. Yeah. Every time you type it out of this ordinary, you emphasizing it within your brain. Yeah? Builds more. So there's a method to the madness. It's not just an indulgence. Furthermore, it is our brand, my brand. Yes. And Beena's now
yes.
joined in this, so it's Beena's brand too.
Yes.
Right, Beena? That way of writing, it's part of our brand,
Exactly.
the brand of
Exactly.
Moreness culture. Anybody can join into this. It's not a brand that's exclusive to me. I could make it so, I suppose, but with such stuff, you can't really. But doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that I'm originating this, and that I've created this whole language, this whole world. Doesn't matter. You can do your own thing. Use the concept. The concept is an abstract overview concept. You can create a Moreness culture that's entirely different to what I have. Yeah, doesn't matter. But that's the bigger point here. So Dushkatari, I always read it as Dushkatari and then Q. I know it's Dushkatarik, but in my mind, I'm reaching it as Dushkatari Q. This sounds fun. That sounds fun. Duskatari Q. It sounds very cool. It's like
Yes,
that's your celebrity name, right? Duskatari Q. And maybe you should put the Q in capital Q, being Duska. See, then it will be there.
yes,
Yeah. All right.
yes.
And then we have
We
mm,
had Lubna.
well,
So
I was
Lub
gonna just change it a little bit to match. You see, we've got Lubna Sidd QE. Yeah. Lubna Sidd QE. QU. QE. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so I love that. I love that there are 660 Duskataris and that there are Lubna Sidd Qs, 325 of them. That's quite magical. That is quite magical. It's really fascinating to me that there's so many. It's brilliant. It's like a whole host of angels, right? I don't know what
yes.
technically the number for a host is. Yeah, you could probably look it up. Google how many in a host. If you Google that real fast, how many in a host? Yeah, it's an old
Okay.
term. So a host of angels, which is how it's referred to, at least in the Bible, but it has a specific number. Now, when I talk about angels, of course, and we have Amen Sid EQ. Yeah, see, so we
Yes.
have all different names. So Aman, not Amen,
Okay.
Aman.
The Lord of Hosts is seven Holy Spirits, seven sons
Seven.
of man.
So
Yes.
no, that can't be right. A host can't just be seven.
Okay.
Yeah. So how many? What? How many? When a host
Or
is
they're
how
saying a
many?
large number of something. They are saying a
Oh,
lot.
it doesn't specify. Okay, a large number.
Yes.
All right. I thought there was a specific number, but I guess not. So hello, Ayman. Hello, hello. I love that you're here. I was having some fun with the names, so just making about. But see, Ayman has the dot in there, so it becomes something else. You see, but the others are all in one. So
Okay. Anyway,
that's
yes,
Ayman
we are
dot
having fun
Siddiq.
with this, but we need to welcome people here again
Yes,
because
yes, we're
live
doing the
stream
capital. Yeah,
is
go ahead. Go ahead. Welcome everybody. Because we
yes.
started, we had to restart. That's why we're doing the
Exactly.
welcome.
Our live stream was, I don't know, for some reason, it was just ended and we were able to continue. Of course, Syl was sharing a lot. So, anyway, whoever is watching us live and will watch us recorded, we are doing capital R reading of Musashi's book, Book of Five Ring, or The Book of Five Ring, A Book of Five Ring, or Book of Five Rings. That's
Oh,
it. This is what we are doing, and capital R reading for new people who are joining us. It's a process of moreness. It's a concept of moreness. Of course, it's not limited to us only, but or moreness
oh,
culture only. It is there, but what we are doing here, it's a bit more than just normally when people do the capital R reading. It involves much more than just memorizing things, just having being able to give reference of these things. Because mostly when I see and observe when people are sharing about the capital R reading concept, that okay, they say that okay, read it in this way so you can remember or you can memorize most of the things. Of course, it is for the future use that okay, yes, you can give reference, but our capital R reading process is not focused on that. Of course, you will be able to do that because it will become innate to you. So the whole process of capital R reading is to understand the intent of the writer, of course, the intent of reader, and the intent of sharing, why this person was sharing that, and also our own intent, our clarity of intent, why we want to read this book. So much involved into that, and also that Syl has quite a good understanding and an awareness about the Japanese samurai culture. So he is providing us not
oh,
only the historical context, but also the cultural and political and also
yes,
psychological context to
yes,
understand the dynamics of that society at that time, which
yeah,
actually help a lot to understand that then what Musashi was trying to share. It is quite a
yes,
revolutionary step he took because at that time where hierarchy was a big, huge deal in that culture, but he was
right,
going against and he
right,
was sharing it with common people, which is a big revolutionary kind of idea. They are
yes,
against security, but this is
yes,
very interesting to observe that even though he was taking some measures to go out of that superiority paradigm culture, but still he was so much into that. So this is
mm,
so interesting to actually read that. So today we are going to read more about this, and Syl is going to provide us not only the context and the sharing from Syl is going to limit it only to Musashi and the Japanese
Yeah,
culture,
yeah,
but as
yeah,
we will read, you will see that how many
yeah.
things will come into this thing, because the way of impeccability and the Moreness-Project is something always in it. It is like your
Yes,
salt and
yes,
sugar. It is not going to be like your all your things are going to based on that. So this is like water or oxygen. I don't know what to say that, because this is what
yes,
is for us. So way of
yes.
impact in bonus culture also. So you will get glimpse of it also. So please do join us daily. We are here except Saturdays at 10. I don't know that it's in 40 minutes before earlier than this time now. You can join us on Instagram, on YouTube, on Facebook in our group Sassy, and we will do that. And we are open for suggestions. If you want to do this capital R reading with us, you are most welcome. Okay, so will you please screen share and
Yes,
please?
yes, yes, I shall. I shall. I was just running a quick poll in Instagram,
Okay, good,
and maybe there will some suggestions will come from that. Let's see.
wonderful.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Most wonderful. All right. So now let's continue with what we're doing. And one of the things in capital reading is not only to understand Musashi, but also to be able to use what Musashi is saying in our everyday lives. Because Musashi
Mm,
is started off is saying that to him, if you're going to use the katana, and specifically the katana, because it has this mythology in Japanese culture, especially at the time, and it still has, of being something special, something different, something with soul, etc. Right? It has its own spirit, etc. Very big mythos around the katana. But he says those using the katana are called strategists, not warriors, not soldiers, not swordsmen, not duelists, but strategists. And this is what makes Musashi different, is that he's not only focusing on sword techniques, because there are many books that were written before that on how to make a stroke, how to cut. No, he's talking about the deeper strategy. Yes. So I asked there, so all in Esed, Dushkatari, Lubna Sid, Ayman, please answer my poll, respond to my poll. What's your opinion on my poll? Yes.
okay, what's
Yes,
suppose?
no, would you not? Right? What it is. So I'm keen for your perspectives on that there. Input. I want this to be a live interactive poll. Yeah.
Okay,
I'm being a bit naughty. I'm being a bit naughty, but naughty is fun. Naughty is fun. All right. Let's continue here, Beena. Let's continue. So set all this up, and yes, we got everything ready. Uh, what happened to my comments? Oh, just shows the channels, doesn't show comments. There we go. All right, brilliant, brilliant. In case there are comments elsewhere. Very good indeed. Very good indeed. So if we see something there on the quiz, on the poll, I don't know. Well, let's hope we get responses. All right, let's continue reading here. To renew. What does this mean? Oh, I was wanting to say. I was busy saying what we want to do is take Musashi, this idea of being a strategist, and
mm,
apply it to being a spirit warrior, which means we are going to learn to use these techniques in a different way. We are fighting for spirit, yes. We are fighting with spirit. We are fighting about spirit, and that's important. And we're also taking fighting, and we are looking to transform fighting into play, yes. Because same thing, you do effort to get an end result. But we're going to use this the romance of a warrior, because warrior has a very romantic connotation to it, right? And we're going to say we're going to be warriors, meaning we have impeccability, we have honor, we have discipline, we have patience, we have forbearance, we have timing, all of the qualities that are in a warrior. Why warrior? Why leverage this particular conception? Because warriors deal with life and death. And when we really, really think about things and take them absolutely all the way to the end, we have to at some point deal with death. And how do we leverage this? You say, oh, I don't have to do it now. How do I use this in my daily life? If you just go into your job or go into the kitchen, right? Go into the living room, whatever you're doing in your daily life, yeah, and do it as if your life depends on it. Try it right now.
Oh.
Mm, that changes things. See?
Mm.
So as a warrior, you always have death there. Don Juan said death is just a little bit behind you to the left of your shoulder here and ready to tap you on the shoulder anytime. Uh, yeah, he said some wonderful things. We also said death is the most wonderful advisor, but leverage death. Right now, suddenly, when you start to think, wow, if my life depends on the simple thing that I'm doing, just going to the kitchen and making, wow, suddenly it's leveraged, it's heightened. I'm more alert, I'm more alive, I'm more focused, I'm paying greater attention, my energy is raised. See? Very powerful. So this concept of a warrior, it isn't about fighting, it's about leveraging ourselves into moreness. Yes. It's very, very powerful thing. Very, very powerful. Very magical. That's what we're reading to do here, to see how can we leverage Musashi into our lives. Yeah. So my poll is falling flat over there. I'm getting no responses on my poll whatsoever. Oh well. We can only hope. To renew, to renew. Maybe we'll renew the poll another day. Will you please
Yes.
read, Beena?
Yes. It is Veena's team, so you cannot get anything. Nope.
All right. All right. Venus mixing it there. Editing,
Nope.
editing,
Nope.
censorship.
I don't need to even say anything. Nope.
Yeah. Venus power. See, Venus got power there.
Yes.
Nope.
Yes.
Sorry, not happening. All right. Well, I'm optimistic. I'm always optimistic. You never know. Things can change. Things can change. Even if you believe that they won't, they can. Yeah, you never know.
Yes.
All right. To renew, please continue.
Yes. Okay. Mm, I need to make it a bit bigger for me. Okay. To renew. To renew applies when we are fighting with the enemy and an entangled spirit arises where there is no possible resolution. We must abandon our efforts. Think of the situation in a fresher spirit, then within the new rhythm. To renew when we are deadlocked with the enemy means that without changing our circumstances, we change our spirit and win through a different technique. It is necessary to consider how to renew. Also applies in large scale strategy. Research this diligently.
Right. Let's read that last sentence again there. It is necessary to consider how to renew also applies in large scale strategy. Research this diligently. Yeah, there's one very important instance of how winning is not what we expect it to be. And we need to change this conception. Furthermore, let go of this idea of win, because win is a very, very corrupted concept. Musashi is absolutely pointing that out. To Musashi, win is you benefit at the expense of whoever you're winning against. That doesn't sit so well with me. People want to be winners in life. Well, doesn't that mean you're going to be making everybody else losers? I don't want that. And I've seen this in game chats and commentaries. People express stuff like, "Yeah, spoken like somebody who's never won." No, I won a lot as a child, exceptionally. I wanted everything pretty much. Yes, but it, I saw this after a while. Like in certain things, like I said about that one card game, nobody would play with me. I'd always win every time, win convincingly, win conclusively. There's no point to it, right? You lose that. You lose your friends if you're winning all the time. It's a stupid strategy. Yeah? So I said, no, there's got to be better. There's got to be more. And I shifted. And hence Moreness-Culture is one of the things that gave rise to Moreness-Culture, right? Understanding the corruption of win. Yes. And you get a rubbish pile logic. I call it something else usually, but I want to be more polite and be more cultured and refined. Yes, that people win and they end up being queen of the rubbish pile. Oh, I'm queen of the rubbish pile. Well, I'm queen. I'm queen. Yeah, but you're queen of the rubbish pile. Yeah, but I'm queen. Yeah, but you're living in a rubbish pile. Yeah, but I'm queen. I call it something worse than that. Yeah.
Mhm.
But that's the
Yes.
logic. You see, you get obsessed with winning and you don't realize the price you pay for winning. Winning at all costs is the most corruptive cancer out there. Horrible. Horrible. All right. Now, also, we have to understand what win means. How do you win against a black hole?
Mm.
I love this. You know that Rochambeau? One, two,
Mhm.
three, and you go, I forget the other thing goes. Okay, this is that scissors, and what's paper? Paper's the open hand, right? And you go,
Mm.
da, 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 psh. Okay, so paper gets cut, oh, scissors. Paper gets cut by scissors. But I always win in rock, paper, scissors or Rochambeau because I go,
Mhm.
bah, 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 and somebody goes, psh, and I go, psh. Well, what's that? Black hole. Black hole defeats everything. I win every time.
Oh.
Yeah, nothing wins against the black hole. Yeah.
Mm.
Okay, it's not technically you only get those three choices, but all right. In my world, I go black hole. There you go. Black hole wins against everything. However, however, you can defeat the black
Mm.
hole. Strategy, patience. How? How do you defeat us? If you think in regular terms, if you think in Musashi logic, there's no way. Whatever you throw at the black hole, it makes it stronger. Yeah, and this came up in my book. I talk about toxic personalities. I call them black hole personalities. They just suck. They just suck. They suck. There's no winning against them. People want this. They want to have a defeat. Well, they want to have something clever to say against the thing. They want to catch them out. No matter what you do, you make it worse. Their egos will not allow them to have a loss, right? And then they revert it and subvert it and just keep coming back at you and coming back at you in order to gain superiority, right? So you can't win against that psychology, but you can. The way to defeat a black hole is to starve it through non-action, non-interaction. You can't love a black hole better because love is energy. See? But starve it, give it no energy, stay as far away as possible, don't interact, don't cross that event horizon, don't come anywhere close to that black hole, don't feed it. Then eventually it starves. So win here is staying away. That's how you win against the black hole, how you defeat the black hole. It is a completely converse, inverted strategy. But it's important to have this flexibility of mind to look at your real objective. Your real objective is not to defeat, which means crush, destroy, etc. Typically, yes, that's what it usually means. Uh, you want to get rid of it. That's really what you want. You don't want the black hole to be there. So find a different way. There's different ways, right? There we go. So this is very important. That's very, very, very important. Yeah, yeah. So
So,
by the
so
way,
just
oh, go ahead. Yeah,
okay,
yeah, go
sorry.
ahead. No, no,
No, just to understand it more, what you're saying about to defeat or to win with the black hole is to starve it, which means
correct,
that
correct.
it depends on it completely depends on the energy, of course, and
Wow.
any kind of interaction, any kind of engagement is an exchange of energy. Yes.
Correct, correct. Yes. So it's not about starving it, it's about not interacting with it. Yes. I mean,
Yes.
yes, the result is the same, but it's slightly different. You can't starve it by interacting with it. I mean, it's like when you're starving a prisoner, you still holding them prisoner. No, you have to not interact with the black hole, and you have to get everything else not to interact with it either, right?
Hmm.
So you have to really isolate the black hole, really. And then it will starve itself, essentially. It will have no energy to feed on it and starts feeding internally on itself. And eventually the black hole implodes and becomes a white hole. Yeah, it was quite fascinating. But, it turns into something positive. It does the opposite, the inverse. All of that mass that was being compacted inside there can't get any more and it explodes and you get a white hole and now it just erupts all of the stuff
Is
and puts it out back into the
is it
into
is
the
it
universe.
is it about only the black hole or any negative energy? This is a strategy of not engaging in any
Pretty
kind of.
much, pretty much. It applies to many things, correct? I mean, if you
Okay.
take your, diseases, they feed on things. If you can reduce their food, then yes, that's what radiation is in a sense, right? When you're dealing with cancer. And other ways to deal this, but yes, take your anger, take fire. Fire is a classic example. Yes, if you starve a fire, you don't give it fuel, which it needs not only the fuel like the wood or whatever, but it also needs oxygen, right? And both cut that off, and the fire dies, right? So same thing with your anger. Yeah, the fuel may be the thing that started it, but the air, the oxygen, is the surrounding energy, the motivation, the payoff, whatever, right? So many ways to do this, and all of it depends on abstract thinking. Shift your thinking, understand, look at it, the bigger picture, look at the abstract. Then you start to see this moreness, and you can pull that out. And it's very, 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 very useful, very powerful. So yes, you can do this with many problems that people have. Loneliness. We tend to think only one way. Oh, only way I can solve loneliness is to have friends. It's that win mindset. There's only one way to win. Nonsense. Nonsense. If you're happy with yourself and you enjoy being with yourself, you'll never be lonely. And of course, when you aren't lonely, you make friends easier. Who wants to be friends with a lonely person? Needy? Anyone? See? We don't want to be friends with lonely people. So it's a problem that gets resolved by resolving the problem. Yeah, you have to kind of shift it about. Sometimes you do have to put the cart before the horse. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If your horse is going to be walking backwards, then of course you want the cart to be in front of the horse. Yes. Right? Things don't always work the way we think they do, especially the world doesn't. So this whole point about, oh, I'll stop being lonely when I make friends. No, you'll make friends when you stop being lonely. Philosophy of opposite. Actually, that's not a bad idea to put that into as another one of the chapters, right?
Yes,
You
yes,
agree, Beena?
yes.
Yeah, well. See, and here's my discipline. I do it now, right away. It only takes a second, yeah, right?
Mm.
And there we go. It's done. I'm on chapter 55 already. When I started, I think I had like, I don't know, 10 chapters. I had more, but I hadn't elaborated and I'd forgotten what they were. And well, no, where were we up? It was more than 10. Anyway, but now we're at chapter 55 already. Yeah. So this is very, very powerful stuff. Very, very powerful. Shift it around. Don't assume that the goal is the goal. There are many ways to win, in other words, and there are unexpected ways to win. And this concept of like win without winning. I have a self-defense book that I really must write at some point, and it's called The Art of Fighting Without Fighting. Yeah, self-defense. Yeah, see trouble before it sees you. You can get out of the way. That's fighting without fighting. Yes, your battle is to pay attention, to anticipate, to extrapolate, to look ahead of you, to be aware. That's your challenge. If you can do that, enemies are a non-issue. People giving you trouble is a non-issue. Right? Doesn't become an issue. I can't even think of having enemies. I see this on Facebook all the time. People talk about their enemies. Like they expect that they should have and must have enemies. Uh, well, if I have enemies, good luck to you. It's in your own bubble. I don't think you're an enemy, even though you might think you're my enemy. It's a non-issue. All right. That's very, very cool. Very cool. So there are lots we can do, lots we can do to really leverage our own lives and bring moreness into our lives. And that's the whole point of Moreness-Culture, is to jump the paradigm. It's not just about doing things better. It's doing things so differently, right? That you change everything. It's like people trying to defeat the black hole. Well, they throw radiation at it. They throw gamma rays. They throw inverse energy. They throw antimatter at it. Actually, that might actually work, but okay, right? But nonetheless, they're always looking for some better way to defeat it. Oh, well, we're not going to fight against the black hole. We're going to love the black hole. Sometimes you got to change completely into your paradigm. And this literally applies with BMNs, narcissists, toxic abusers, horrible people. You can't love them better. You got to leave them to starve on their own nonsense, to realize that what they want they can't get anymore. Now they have to find a different way. Yeah, you deprive them of their food source, they have to find another food source, and that's it. You want to feed off me with your narcissism and superiority, always trying to put me down. Sorry, not going to work. Go elsewhere. Yeah, and I'm not going to be your bully either. That's the either way. They want somebody to suck up to. No, I don't want either of those. There are other ways. Right? Very, very powerful. Please continue, Beena.
Yes. Okay. Rat's head, rat's head, ox's neck. Rat's head, ox neck. Rat's head
Yeah,
and
it's
ox
hard
neck
to say.
means that when we
Oxes,
are
oxes necks,
ox's, okay,
oxes.
rat's head and ox's neck means that when we are fighting with the enemy and both he and we have become occupied with the small points in an entangled spirit, we must always think of the way of strategy as being both rat's head and an ox's neck. Whenever we have become preoccupied with the small details, we must suddenly change into a large spirit, interchanging large with the small. This is one of the essence of strategy. It is necessary that the warrior think in this spirit in everyday life. We must not depart from this spirit in large scale strategy, nor in single combat.
Yeah. Again, just what I was saying earlier. Shift, 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 shift. Right, right.
Yes.
When we are fighting with the enemy, and both she and we have become occupied with small points and an entangled spirit, we must always think of the way of strategy. Overview perspective, right? Zoom out, look at the bigger picture. Don't get consumed in the little. And when you are too much in the bigger, sometimes you need to pay attention to detail. In other words, pay attention to all contexts. In other words, be appropriate, because that's what being appropriate means, capital A appropriateness. Be appropriate in all contexts, not just spatial context, but time context as well. Energy context, psychological context, spirit context, mood context, all contexts. Yeah, very, very important. Yeah. And don't be misogynistic, Musashi. Can be a she too. Yeah, you never know. The commander, no, please read. Please read. Just me.
Okay. To let go to the hill. Oh, this is no.
Oh, the commander knows the troops.
Okay. It is okay. The commander knows the troops. The commander knows the troops applies everywhere in fights in my way of strategy. Using the wisdom of strategy, think of the enemy as your own troops. When you think in this way, you can move him at will and be able to chase him around. You become the general, and the enemy becomes your troops. You must master this.
This is very powerful. Now, in a in a in a military way, yes, you can take command of others simply through force of energy, force of
Mm,
circumstance, force of spirit. Yeah. It's quite amazing how this can happen. Right now, they may not literally start doing exactly what you say, but your mood, your intent can affect their behavior in a big way. You can even get them sometimes to literally do what you're doing. Right, it's happened many times. However, but if we take of this in a more abstract, more overall conception, and we think of it how we can utilize this understanding. Basically, what he's talking about is leadership.
mm,
Yeah. If you apply this in your business meetings, your sales meetings, you apply this with your customers. Like I said, customer walks in the store, and my staff would ask them, what are you looking for? They would always say, I don't know, because they never knew, even though they did know. And I would help them to buy, right? Taught the staff to do this. That's leadership. Yeah. But it's leadership in a kind, in a gentle way, in a helpful way. Yes. You see the path. I'm walking the path, and I'm sharing the path with you. I'm not
mm,
telling you go here, go there. See? It's very different. So when you know, the commander knows the troops, when you really know your enemy, know your customer, know your client, it changes everything. Now you can apply leadership in a really profound way. A leadership without bullying, leadership without bossing. That's leadership to me. Yes. Otherwise, it's bossiness. Who wants bossiness? No, leadership, something else, right? So when we really know this, it's again, know yourself, right? But knowing the troops. And he doesn't say know the enemy, he says know your troops, which is different because he's saying now treat the enemy as your troops, treat them in the same way. This is a magical thing to do. Yeah? This is a very, very magical thing to do. This is very, very powerful. And when we take that all the way, we don't treat the customer as somebody I need to sell to. No, somebody I want to help to buy. And many times I told customers, what you want, I don't have. Even though they would be willing to buy something from me, go, yeah, you'll find it over there. Yeah. Just because that's appropriate. Yeah. I might be able to sell them something, but am I really helping them? Am I really helping me in the long term? No, no. Yeah. So you got to think a bigger term. Yeah? Very important. All right.
Okay.
Continue, please, Beena.
Actually, it is a bit blurred, so that's why I was waiting for that.
Oh,
Okay.
I see.
To let go the hilt, yes. There are various kinds of spirit involved in letting go the hilt. There is the spirit of winning without a sword. There is also the spirit of holding the long sword but not winning. The various methods cannot be expressed in writing. You must train well. This is very interesting that this paragraph is just very small in this, but it is sharing a big concept here.
Yes. Yes. Profound. Read it again, please, Beena.
Yeah, yeah. There are various kinds of spirit involved in letting go the hilt. There is a spirit of winning without a sword. There is also the spirit of holding the long sword, but not winning. The various methods cannot be expressed in writing. You must train well.
They can be expressed with writing. They just can't be expressed in writing by you, Musashi. Yeah, yeah. We've been talking about exactly this, right? To
Exactly.
win
That's what I'm
without the
saying.
sword, it's like that. What I was saying about the black hole. You think of doing. I've got to do something. No, the way to defeat the black hole is by not doing. Oh, oh, yeah. Not holding a sword, not using a sword, or again, I might be holding the sword, but I'm going to just have my spirit be there to disguise. Let's say somebody wants to come and fight me. They challenge me to a duel. I push such fierce energy of acceptance, of love, of joy, of confidence, of competence, of at easeness that they real. Oh my goodness, I was mistaken about this guy. Yes, I'm holding my sword. I'll fight you if you really want to, but if you want to be stupid, go ahead. You want to be stupid and die or get injured, go ahead or take risk. Okay, you might think you're going to win. You might win, but there's risk involved. You might win and lose an arm or a leg or something, right? You start to
Yes.
communicate this. I don't want to fight you. It's not because I'm afraid, but because it's a waste. I'm holding my sword, but I'm also winning with my spirit. Yeah. See, many ways to do things. That's the point. This is why the two key tools of way of impeccability. One, thinking things through to the end. What are you
Okay.
really trying to achieve? Second is perspective shifting to multiple perspectives. Multiple. Yeah, we have multiple perspectives to say, there's many ways to be objective. Keep shifting till you find one. Okay? Wonderfully powerful. All right, let's keep going.
Okay. I thought that you are going to elaborate a bit more on that because okay, this is such a good part.
That's it, really, because we've been saying about this already, Beena. This is
Yes,
what I've been
yes,
talking about
yes.
all the time. It's just that he's
Exactly.
expressing this
Exactly.
here.
Okay.
And so this is a
Okay.
summary of what I've been saying before. Please
Yes.
elaborate if you have more on this, Beena. How did it connect for you?
No, I'm not saying that, okay, that I'm going to. I was just saying that, okay,
Uh,
because you have been sharing a lot, and we had that
no,
mishap in the live stream. So just to give
no,
people a bit of
no.
understanding that Syl has been sharing a lot in detail, really, about this
Right.
concept. Now, where Musashi is just saying few, there's a couple of lines there, and
Yeah.
saying that okay,
Yeah.
he's not able to share to put it
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
writing, but
Yeah.
actually it is possible. At least now it is possible, and Syl has shared a lot into it. This concept of abstract thinking, and also that okay, perspective
Yes.
shifting, thinking outside the box, and also that philosophy. There's so much involved into this. Just a couple of lines, he just said that. But Syl has been sharing because in Way of Impeccability and Moreness-Project, you will see a lot of time when you shift completely and get out of this the should mindset that it has to be certain thing has to be in certain way. No,
Right.
who says that?
Right.
Who set this rule?
Right.
This is where the true
Right.
freedom comes in, when you have this ability, when you have a freedom to think outside any should. And you say that, okay, who
Yes.
decides that? I can do more than that. I can do different than this. This is the essence of deliberate living, because when you take full charge of your living, and when you take full charge of your way of being, complete full responsibility and full charge, then it's a freedom. Then you go beyond the norms, then you go beyond the, like this is what he's trying to say here. It is a winning a spirit without using a sword. If it is available, why to get into this so much hassle, and of course getting into killing people and all that? If you have that, why not use it? Of course, it's a choice there.
Exactly.
And of course sometimes it is appropriate because other people are not willing to understand and acknowledge the moreness outside this killing mindset, the superiority mindset.
Exactly.
Superiority mindset is actually a
Exactly.
killing mindset.
Exactly. I mean, a superiority paradigm in our modern times, it's not about killing the person physically, but killing them psychologically, killing them
Exactly.
energetically, killing their spirit. Yes. That's what abusers do and manipulators. Yes. They
Yes, exactly, exactly.
horrible.
If by any means, by using any means or ways and strategy, if you are limiting anyone's ability to think more than usual, and to exercise and acknowledge and practice, you are actually virtually killing them. That's it. So yes, exactly. That's why it is important, and it is fun to read Musashi's book
Yes.
Archiving, because
Yes.
uh, I mean, if we just take it virtually and see that how people are emotionally killing others, psychologically killing others, virtually they are killing people, they are killing a spirit, and we need to understand that sometimes murder is not just by cutting someone's throat. It is actually a
Exactly.
murder to
Exactly.
limit their perspective.
Yes. If you kill someone's spirit, you're no less a murderer than if you kill
Exactly.
their body.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. So
Yeah. That's a
wonderful.
horrible thing. All right. So on this, let go the hilt, Beena, since you're asking for more. Yes, it is expressing what I've been saying, but let me retitle it in a way of impeccability, language of conceptuality,
Exactly.
appropriateness.
Exactly. This
We can
is what I
say,
was.
right, to let go the belief.
Mm.
Yeah, typically I'm going into things I believe I've got to win. Let go of that. But we can say, go, let's go more than that. Let's go of the usual. Don't just do things in the usual way, try different ways, right? Okay, like again, usual is fighting and beating, whatever. No, sometimes non-interaction is the way to go. Yeah, sometimes it is love that is the technique to go. Uh, Let go of the usual. But even more so, to take both of those and say, what's common to both of those? Expectation.
Uh,
The moment you put your hand on the hilt, right? Imagine this as a sword, right? What goes along with that holding of the sword? Expectation. Yes.
yes.
Both belief, both usual. The common abstract is expectation. Once we relinquish expectation, everything changes, especially the expectation that we think, we believe, we know how the world works. We don't. We have no clue.
Yes. Yes.
We don't.
We
We don't.
try to.
It's something I was just talking to Beena about earlier. It's about
Yes.
dreams. Yes, my dreams are this, my dreams are that. Wherever did you come onto this belief, this expectation that your dreams are yours? What evidence do you have for this? Based on what? What facts do you have support this? Oh, well, I just kind of just, everybody has a my dream. I'm having yeah. Now that you mention it, I don't. I just sort of assumed. I just sort of assumed. I just sort of took it for granted that I'm having them. Why couldn't it be that in your dreams you get to go and experience other people's things, right? And you're getting to look at things from inside somebody else. Like in science fiction movies where they put one person into the brain of another. I mean, into the body of another, right? Twins with, like, remember with, well, I don't think they had that, but there are many movies about this where somebody gets
Yeah.
inside and somebody else's body. Why can't that be what's happening in your dreams? Does it mean that's all the time? No. Sometimes they can be yours, sometimes they can be others, sometimes they can be a multiple together, all sorts of possibilities. We don't know. There's nobody who can tell you that what I'm saying isn't so. If they want to insist, well, based on what? I'll be happy to listen if they've got some evidence, but there's no evidence for it, right? Because I had a dream in which I experienced something physically. I felt the feeling of it. And I hadn't in my waking life experienced that particular thing. And many years later, I did. And said, oh, now I see. It was actually accurate. I had no way of knowing at the time, right? But I could have been experiencing somebody else's experience. I could have been experiencing past experience, could be in my DNA, many different explanations. We have to have this openness, in other words. And that openness will only come if we let go of expectations, let go of the fantastic limitations of expectation. Yes. Very, very powerful. So letting go of the hilt is letting go of expectations, which means beliefs, usual, typical, norm, should. Should is a most horrendous hilt. It really ties you to a fantastically horrible sword, right?
Mm.
And it's letting
Yeah.
go. And you grasp the hilt of should. What is the blade that comes along with it? Horrible. Pay attention, people. Pay attention. Pay attention. All right, we'll end
Yes.
here. We'll start with this new one because this is quite a long one here. Oh,
Okay.
never mind, never mind. It's the end of this particular book, so let's read to the end. Let's read.
Okay. Okay. That's good. The body of a
Yeah.
rock. When you have mastered the way of a strategy, you can suddenly make your body like a rock, and 10,000 things cannot touch you. This is the body of a rock. You will not be moved. Oral tradition.
That's very
What is
interesting
it?
that he writes it this way. I don't know. I don't know. Let just want to go back a bit here. Remember when
Yes.
I was saying about the capitalization? If Musashi had
Yes.
written Way of Strategy with capital W, capital S, and hyphens, it would be much more powerful than Way of Strategy, little s, right? It's not little
Yes.
s strategy, it's capital S strategy that he's talking about, right? And it's a way of
Yes.
strategy, it's a thing to him, right? It's the way of strategy, right? Now, this body of a rock, we'll see more what he means here. But he says, you will not be moved. Okay. It is what I was talking about a little bit earlier about patience and discipline and forbearance. There's more to that. There's will. And then you test it all with petty tyrants. But will here now is what I think he's starting to talk about. But he throws in this oral tradition. And I don't know if it's oral tradition is meant to be a colon as the next thing that's coming is oral tradition or not. So let's read on and see. Right? Actually,
Yes.
Beena, before we read
Yes.
that, I want to read the footnote. See, it says body of a rock 51. We go to 51. It's not
Okay.
going to help, at least until we read to the end of the section, but let's just put it in here. The body of a rock. This is recorded in the Terao Kaki, the chronicle of the house of Terao. Once the Lord asked Musashi, what is the body of a rock? Musashi replies, please summon my pupil, Terao Ryuma Suke. When Terao appeared, Musashi ordered him to kill himself by cutting his abdomen. Seppuku. That's probably what he means here, ritual suicide, seppuku, because that's how you do it, by cutting the abdomen. Just as Terao was about to make the cut, Musashi restrained him and said to the Lord, this is the body of a rock. This is what I was saying about obedience. Yes, obedience and loyalty, the expectation of doing anything. You give yourself so completely that you're able to do this. It's a madness, but there's a respect to it that you are willing to sacrifice yourself for another. This is the concept, but it's leveraged, it's manipulated honor. But anyway, so let's read a bit more and see. He's saying oral tradition, something is involved here. We need to understand more. So let's read
Yes.
the whole thing and understand more.
Okay, what is recorded above is what has been constantly on my mind about Ichi school sword fencing, written down as it came to me. This is the first time I have written about my technique, and the order of things is a bit confused. It is difficult to express it clearly. This book is a spiritual guide for the man who wishes to learn the way. My heart
Right there, right
learned the
there,
way.
right there, right there. Now we start to see Musashi is coming to the end of the second book and he's starting to think about what he's doing. Yes. This
Yeah.
book is a spiritual guide for the man who wishes to learn the way. Now he means this is a way of getting your spirit in tune to learn the way of strategy, which is learn fighting. But when we take that in the way it's written purely, it is completely non-physical, about non-physical fighting. It's about learning to be more, learning to be impeccable, in other words. Yeah, best use of energy. Very interesting. So this
Yes.
book is a spiritual guide for the person or the sentience who wishes to learn the way. It's not restricted to men, Musashi, as Beena is telling you.
Okay. Uh, this book is a spiritual guide for the man who wishes to learn the way. My heart has inclined to the way of strategy from my youth onwards. I have devoted myself to training my hand, tempering my body, and attaining the many spiritual attitudes of sword fencing. If we watch men of other schools and discussing theory and concentrating on techniques with the hands, even though they seem skillful to watch, they have not the slightest true spirit. Of course, men who study in this way think they are training the body and spirit, but it is an obstacle to the true way, and it is bad, and its bad influence remains forever. Thus, the true way of a strategy is becoming descendant and
Decadent.
decadent. Okay, decadent and dying out. The true way of sword fencing is the craft of defeating the enemy in a fight and nothing other than this. If you attain and adhere to the wisdom of my strategy, you need never doubt that you will win. The second year of Shuhu, the second year of Shuhu, the fifth month, the 12th day, Shinmen
1645, in
Musashi.
other words. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So this Teruao, right, as opposed to the Terao, I don't know if it's the same person in the footnote. It's spelled differently, but that was his student who is writing this too, Shinmen Musashi. Very interesting. So I don't know, other than him making a sort of a summary, but he didn't really elaborate on this way of the rock, other than I would say this would mean be real. Yeah, be real. Don't practice idea. Don't practice theory. Practice for real. Yes. You can, like, for
Exactly.
instance, take public speaking, which is a great challenge for people, and it's a big obstacle. You can practice it at home in front of your mirror, but unless you do it in front of a live audience, no, not going to happen, right? You need to have that real experience. By the way, most public speaking is like writer's block. Change one single conception, you change the whole thing. Yes. And in public speaking is simply understand that you are not, when you're doing public speaking, it's not about performing. It's
Mm.
talking. You're just talking in public. You talk all your life. You know how to talk. You're very skilled at talking. You're talking to people, you're talking to one person, you're talking in private, it's all the same. So your objective isn't public speaking. Public speaking, oh, and the association with this word public speaking is it's like I got to perform in somewhere, I got to do something different. You have to do anything different. The only thing you're going to do is communicate about your point. If you know your topic, it's very easy. Talk about what you know. Tell people about what you know. Is that hard? No, it's not hard. Very simple, right? Change the conception. Same thing, what we were talking about, right? But
Yeah.
of course, the body like a rock, know your topic, know what you're talking about. That you can work on. So when you do get to do this, you don't even have to practice public speaking. Why? Because, well, I've practiced speaking all my life. And sometimes I've spoken to more than one people, a group. Yeah, okay, there's a group of friends, doesn't matter, whatever. Right? It's still that's public in a way. What I'm doing now is public speaking, is it not, Beena?
Exactly.
It's just talking, people. It's just talking. Let go of the fear. The fear comes from performing and you don't know what to do, supposedly. There's some magic, there's some unknown thing. There's some way I've got to perform, I've got to do something special, blah, blah. No, public speaking is not performing. It can be for some, but it's not. Right? So this body of a rock, though, is be solid. In other words, yeah. If you take it in more abstract understanding, yeah, be solid, be real. Yeah, yeah. Very cool. All right. So next time we will continue with line squiggle Z. Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know, whatever that means. I guess what is that? It's kind of almost like a slow, a easy comma. Yes. Apostrophe.
Yes.
Leaning. It's
Yes.
a leaning apostrophe squiggly fancy Z.
Okay.
Which means the wind book. Okay.
Oh,
So we're getting
yes.
to book 3 now, the wind book. And we'll do that next time. Brilliant. Thank you,
Okay.
everybody.
Okay. Okay. We will make a post about that. We are going to start reading the big book from Musashi's Book of Five Rings. And we'll do the capital R reading. Uh, Tomorrow, I just want to focus
Oh,
more on that, and we will do it in a more structured way for new people who are joining us. So I will do that. So you can watch this video recorded also. And if you are watching that recorded, please do click like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel, because by doing so, you are going to train your online algorithm to bring moreness into your life. Not only right now, but also for the future generation, because every click, your every single click, your comment, every single comment, your subscription is actually providing data to the algorithm to bring more, what is popular, what really people want to see. So if you see any value, and if you want moreness in your life, do click like and subscribe to these type of channels, or whatever you are, and whatever platform. Please be appropriate. And this is a gesture. It's not a need. It's not a need for them, but it is a need for us. I want my algorithm to be very precise and clean. That's why I do pay attention. Do pay attention to this, because by doing so, you are going to train your mind to be very specific. Then you don't need to actually state your boundaries or dictate your boundaries. You will set your values by making actions. And this is what the true essence of being deliberate living person. You don't need to say it out loud. Oh, this is my boundary. I'm not going to allow anyone. No, just raise your standard, be specific, take actions, and then take actions accordingly. And this is how you are going to.
exactly. Appropriately. Yeah.
Yes. So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much, Syl, for sharing this bonus.
Oh,
I'm really
pleasure,
sorry
pleasure.
that your
Thank you,
poll
Beena.
actually was really flat, because you were dealing with a team Beena there. So nobody respond to that. They don't know.
Oh, but that's just Beena magic. It's Beena power. So Beena power is a
Yes.
very wonderful thing. But I do feel I do would like to see you at some point. I've forgotten what you look like, Beena.
Oh, okay, yeah.
No. I
I
just think
told
it
you.
would be nice for those listening to us to see you as
Oh,
well.
yes.
Yeah.
So then,
It's
okay, I will,
appropriateness.
I will,
Yeah.
I will take, of course, because
Yeah.
since I was using this new laptop, somehow I got an update, and after that, the camera was not working. I
Oh.
tried 2 3 times, but I forgot after the live to share with you, so you can help me to fix that.
Oh,
And
okay.
now we will
Tomorrow
do
we'll
that.
work on it. Or later
Yes,
today we can
before,
work on it.
yes,
Okay.
before
I
tomorrow we will
just
do.
thought I just thought you got a really bad haircut and you just didn't want anybody to see.
I didn't get my haircut yet because it's too hot today here.
It's gone all wild
Uh,
and crazy. Like that picture I
yes,
had the other day. It's like standing up at all. Oh, okay.
oh yes, okay. I was not going out at all because it's actually it was not advice. It was in public service messages. Please don't go out unnecessary. It is not helpful. So yes, okay.
Oh,
We will get out of it soon.
yeah,
In a
yeah. So
week.
hair etiquette, in other words, that's the application here of hair etiquette. Yes. Okay.
Okay, it's not okay. I don't care much about my hair because I feel that okay,
I just
sometimes
teasing.
unnecessary attention
Yeah.
makes things worse. So
Correct.
yes, so it
Correct.
was. I don't pay much
Correct.
attention to.
Correct.
They are
Correct.
good and nice, and
Yeah.
mostly they are very loyal. They do a
Yeah.
good job. Okay, not wonderful,
Yeah.
but okay, yes, a pretty much
Yeah.
okay job kind of thing.
Yeah.
So thank you so
Yeah.
much. Thank you, Sil,
Yeah.
again. We will see you
Oh,
tomorrow.
absolute pleasure.
And
Absolute
again, we
pleasure.
are open for suggestions. If you like to, please do come. it's
Yes.
it is a gesture. You will show that you are coming out of your comfort zone. I know that okay,
Yeah.
I was taking it for granted that what we are sharing is more than usual, but still makes me aware of that because I was like kind of for granted, like, oh yeah, so what's the big deal? It is a big deal, we know that now. And I'm including myself now. We know that it's a big deal, but this is a gesture. You are going to do that. Make yourself, you this is the step you will take to get out of your comfort zone, to extract moreness.
Yes. Yes. And also in Moreness culture, getting out of your comfort zone is about getting into a greater Moreness comfort. Not
Yes.
going from comfort into discomfort. It's going into comfort into greater comfort
Wow.
because our comfort zone isn't all that comfortable, actually.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're learning
Yes.
to be comfortable in a greater range of situations. Different logic. See, again, fighting logic.
Yes.
Get out of your comfort zone, either or, mentality of opposites. No, think differently, people. Think differently. Yeah. What is the most ideal? That's what underlies Moreness culture. What is the most ideal and how do I get to it? Huh?
Oh yes.
Bye bye, everybody. See you tomorrow.
Okay, bye for now. Bye for now, everyone. See you guys
Bye bye.
tomorrow.
Talk to you later. Talk to
Yes.
you later. Bye bye, everybody.